At 3 a.m., the woman abruptly woke up in her bed. She glanced at the alarm clock quickly, then threw back the covers with a sigh, gently removed the arm from her waist with care, and quietly got out of bed and walked away, glancing at her husband still asleep. She softly whispered his name. "Looks like the sleeping pills I gave him are working well." The woman slowly walked to the dressing room, took out the package she had hidden, and packed her things. Then the woman went to the living room, turned off the surveillance, and changed into the prepared clothes. As she tried to escape through the garage, she noticed her dog had followed her closely. She couldn't take him with her, unfortunately. But when she reached for his shock collar, he accidentally bumped the car and set off the alarm. She quickly fled the villa, ran through the woods to the roadside where her sister was already waiting. No sooner had she gotten into the car than her husband came chasing after her. He smashed the car window with a punch and frantically tried to drag her out. Terrified, she sped away. This woman is Lena, her husband. Being incredibly obsessed and extremely controlling, ultimately drove her to desperately escape from their opulent villa. After running away from home, Lena stayed with her friend, Black. 2 weeks later, her sister told Lena that her husband, Xiaofu, had committed suicide. Xiaofu left her a large inheritance of $5 million to be transferred to Lena over 4 years, provided that Lena does not engage in illegal activities. Lena accepted the inheritance and gave some money to her friend Black's daughter for her education, to thank Black for taking her in. From then on, truly bizarre things kept happening. Lena always felt like someone was watching her. The kitchen stove fire flared up, causing her part to burn. The front door was pushed open, but absolutely no one was there. In the middle of the night, Lena woke up freezing because her blanket was being pulled, and she felt a flash. Trying to cool the covers back, she saw invisible feet stepping on them. Terrified by these strange occurrences, Lena started to believe her husband, Cole, wasn't dead. The next day, Lena went to a job interview, only to find all her documents missing from her bag. Lena felt incredibly embarrassed, fainting right after standing up. She was rushed to the hospital for treatment. Back home, she got a call from the doctor, who said her blood showed a high level of sleeping pills. Even stranger, Lena found the sleeping pills she'd lost back in the bathroom cabinet. When Lena went to her sister's home, her sister claimed she'd received a letter severing ties, a letter Lena truly never sent. Arriving home, she checked her computer and found the letter. Lena became convinced her deceased husband was responsible. She lay on the floor, overwhelmed with grief. Hiji's daughter tried to comfort her, but an unseen force pushed her down. Furious, the man grabbed his daughter and stormed out of there. Lena increasingly felt like her husband was right there with her. He scattered black powder all over the floor, picked up a kitchen knife, sat down, and started talking to the empty space. Just then, Lena had a brilliant idea. She pulled out her phone to call her deceased husband, but the ringtone came from the attic. Lena hurried up to the attic and indeed found Suneo's phone. It also contained pictures of her sleeping and the important documents she lost during her interview. Just then, her text message appeared on the phone, reading. Leaning down the stairwell, Lena's sharp intuition screamed. She quickly held the paint, revealing her husband's ruse. He'd become completely invisible. Lena leapt from the attic, quickly grabbed the scapegoat stone, followed the paint marks to the kitchen, and was suddenly choked by an invisible force, slammed against the wall, and dragged across the floor twice by her leg. After being dragged around and tossed aside, repeatedly, with her hair pulled, Lena grabbed a plate from the cupboard and smashed it hard. Then, she flung open the door and ran out. On the way, Lena hailed a ride with her phone, quickly returning to the seaside villa. Lena's purpose was simply to find proof of invisibility. Indeed, they found a high-tacky invisibility cloak in the lab. As she reached out to take the invisibility cloak from the mannequin, the puppy suddenly barked quite loudly. Lena knew Takeshi was here, so she quickly hid the cloak in her down jacket, and then hid behind the door, knowing he had arrived. The door creaked open. Lena seized the chance, shoving past the invisible man, fleeing. The dog darted forward, blocking him. Taking advantage of the moment, Lena escaped the villa. On her way back, she called her sister, wanting to meet for a serious conversation. They agreed to meet at a crowded restaurant. Before Lena could say much, she noticed a smell. The woman gasped. She shrieked. Lena was also subdued by security and taken to a mental hospital. Throughout this time, Lena kept claiming invisible people were present. No one believed her. The doctor had to sedate her, but after everyone left, the invisible man whispered something to her. After the checkup, the doctor informed Lena that she was pregnant. Lena found it a bit hard to believe. The next day, Suneo's brother arrived, accusing him of violating their agreement and revoking his inheritance. But there's another way. Have the baby and then go back to Kevin. So, Lena was now absolutely and truly certain Kevin wasn't dead. In the ensuing chaos, she quickly swiped a pen right off the desk, almost unnoticed. Later that night, Lena twisted it open and stabbed her own arm deeply. She knew Suneo wouldn't let anything happen to the child. True enough, a hand called Lena. There you are. Lena immediately stabbed GM with a pen, piercing his invisibility cloak and revealing his true form. He fell to the ground, stabbed by Lena, who pounced and stabbed him. The invisible man kicked Lena away. Hearing the noise, the security guard rushed in and saw Nobi. His invisibility went off. The guard grabbed the stun baton and was shocked by the figure that Lena pushed the invisible man away and escaped. She ran into 2 security guards, who recaptured her. The invisible man suddenly appeared behind them and knocked them all down. More security guards rushed over, only to be taken down by the invisible man. One guard pulled out his gun and loaded it. The invisible man appeared silently and mysteriously behind him, followed by a hand jump, light as a feather, gently floating in the air, almost magically. The security guards surrendered immediately, but were still shot dead. Shizuo's invisibility cloak ripped, and he fled away. Lena, armed, chased after him. The rain was really coming down the sheets when the invisible man materialized suddenly behind a car with his trunk open. He grabbed Lena tightly by the neck very tightly and forcefully slammed her against the vans. The invisible man told Lena. Lena resisted him. He wouldn't hurt Lena, but he would go after her relatives and friends, like that little girl. Then the invisible man was dealt with. The security guard left. Lena quickly stole a car and called Black, urging him to rush home very quickly. Black arrived to find his daughter pinned tightly to the floor by an unseen force. As he approached her, the invisible man knocked him out cold with one powerful punch, leaving him completely unconscious. Lena rushed over with a fire extinguisher and started wildly spraying at the air. The invisible man became visible. Lena fired several shots. So, the invisible man fell to the ground. Lena removed his mask, finding it wasn't her husband, Xiaofu, but rather his younger brother. Later, police found Xiaofu tied up in the beach villa's basement, and all evidence clearly proved Xiaofu was innocent, but Lena didn't believe it. She believed he could fake death and stage his kidnapping. That evening, looking at Heiji's daughter, Lena made a firm decision. Lena called Xiaofu and arranged to meet at the beach villa. Lena went to the beach villa alone, where Kevin was already waiting. Kevin had prepared a wonderful dinner for Lena. Outside the villa, Blackie eavesdropped on the sounding side. Xiaofu wants Lena back, but she demands the whole truth. Getting emotional, Lena pushes him. Xiaofu approaches, claiming he knows her best. Defies. Convinced that Suneo was indeed the invisible man, Lena excused herself to fix her makeup, leaving him waiting patiently right there. Then, just like that, Suneo suddenly clutched his throat very tightly and collapsed quite quickly, all clearly caught on camera, indeed and clearly visible. Coming out of the restroom, Lena was overwhelmed by what she saw. She quickly called emergency help, then walked out of the surveillance area while on the phone, her panicked expression replaced by a cold one. Looking at Suneo on the ground, Lena sat right beside him and very comfortably said something. Shiro breathed his last, disgruntled. Lena exited the villa with a handbag. Black rushed over, hearing the commotion, seeing the cloak. He understood it all. Smiling, Lena walked out. In that moment, she shed all her burdens, and even the breeze felt exceptionally pleasant. The film concluded there.